Hello everyone, welcome to my sewing shop. I have been doing a lot of cleaning this last few days. I haven't sewn. I've got something on the embroidery machine now that I told my son-in-law I'd make for him before Christmas, but I didn't get it done. So I've actually not sewn a stitch on my regular sewing machine since a week ago tonight. I want to wish everybody a happy new year. I know it's still New Year's Eve, but happy new year. I hope you have a prosperous and healthy new year, and you get some things done that you've been trying to get done for a long time. That's what I'm going to try to do. I'm reconfiguring my way I do things. I've spent the last several days gathering up, reordering things that I use on a daily basis. And I've reordered, I think I ordered about 300 yards of the red satin ribbon that I use for my Santa bags. I have to order that early because people are already ordering those for next year. So I've got 300 yards of that. We'll be here in a few days. I've reordered my shipping bags, the small ones and the large ones. The small ones I put everything in except quilts, and I do put baby quilts in those, but anything bigger than a baby quilt will go in the large shipping bag. And I have, let's see, I guess that's all that I've ordered, and the bags have already come in. I'm waiting on the ribbon now, and I will wait until Sewology goes on sale at Hobby Lobby, and I will buy more blades for my rotary cutter, and because they're half price. They're normally $6.99, and I get them for $3.50 when Sewology's on sale. And then some of my other supplies, I wait until they go on sale at certain places. I get my heat bond on Amazon, and there are some sellers on there that will offer a special on that sometimes for like $35, $38 a bolt. That's 35 yards. That's very, 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 very good price on that. But I thought on this video, I would show you some conventional and non-conventional tools that I use in my shop on a daily basis. And I've used some of these tools on some previous videos, but I would like to show you some things. And I've got some tools here that I have that I don't like, and I'm going to tell you why I don't like them. First of all, the Avery transfer paper. I use this. When I do use it, I use it a lot, and I may go 4 or 5 months without using it. Some people have their mother's clothes or their daddy's clothes, and they want a picture of their daddy on their quilt or whatever. And then some people have a new baby or a new grandbaby, and they'll do a complete picture quilt, 9 pictures or 12 pictures of that baby with different family members. And this paper, this is what I use. It's 6 sheets to a package. Now, a lot of times Walmart don't have this, and I'll give you a little secret. I buy mine at Office Depot. At Office Depot, for 6 sheets, it's like $19.49. But Office Depot will comp anybody else's price. And if you go to Walmart online, you get a pack of 18 for like $18.99 or $18.49, something like that. Prices change daily. But I go to Office Depot will have this, several packs of it all the time, and I go in there and comp it, and they let me have 3 packs of it, which is 18 sheets, and for the same price as Walmart online. So if I'm not in a hurry for it, then I'll order it from Walmart online. If I am in a hurry for it, I'll go in Office Depot and I'll comp it. So that's one thing that I use a lot. I transfer. Somebody did request me to do a video on how I transfer my designs to this paper and how I apply them to my quilt pieces, and I'm going to do that. I was going to do one here a while back, but problems arose and I just did not post it. So, and it was not a problem with the paper. It was not a problem with the application of it. It was a logistics problem. I guess that's how you say it. Okay, so that's one thing that I do. I try to keep this in the shop all the time. And I do have, this is to transfer to light fabrics. And I do have one pack that I've never used that transfers to dark fabrics. So, may use it someday, may not. But that's one thing that I use in my quilt making a lot. And there are other brands out there. I can't say anything about them because I've only ever used this. The Avery brand. Okay, scissors. 1,000 different designs of scissors. These are just some of my... These are good for cutting strings, to have at your sewing machine to cut strings. Sometimes I use them to just snip and tear fabric. These are good for cutting threads. When you change your thread in your embroidery machine, it's good for that. They're good for changing the thread on your sewing machine. When I just pull my thread through. I use the cones of thread, and when I change the color of my thread, I just tie a knot and pull it through, and this is good for that. These are good, just good scissors. These are the Fiskars, and these are I think I got these in a pack. And there might have been a larger pair, but I assure you they were on sale, or I would not have bought them. But also, when they get dull, I hang them up with my stabilizers. My husband has my stabilizers attached to the ceiling like big paper towel rolls, and I just hang them up with those stabilizers. So instead of using fabric cutting scissors, because stabilizer is a lot like paper, so I use these for cutting that when they won't cut fabric anymore. But these are just a nice small pair, and of course you have to have a large pair, which you would consider dressmakers. These are Westcott. I think I got these recently, and I really like them because they do have the slight curve at the bottom. They have the plastic comfortable handles. I am very, very, very left-handed. But I never have. I accidentally bought a pair of left-handed scissors one time. Didn't know it until I tried to use them, and I couldn't. I was like, this is weird. This feels weird, and I can't cut with them. I can cut with them, but I can't cut accurately with them. I was trying to cut out a pattern one time, and I was like 1/8 of an inch off of the line of the fabric of the pattern. Couldn't figure out why, and it was, I'm always used right-handed scissors. I've never used left-handed scissors. And the one time that I did, it didn't work out. So I always make sure, if it says left-handed scissors, I pass those by. I always use right-handed scissors. And I do everything left-handed. I cut, I write, I do everything left-handed. Sharpies. Sharpies are good for so many things. I use these to... Sorry, I've had cold. I've had sinus issues. I use these to draw off my t-shirt squares. I have a pattern, and it is very well used. I don't know where it is right now. It's in here somewhere because I've been cleaning, and I saw it just yesterday. But it is well used, ragged around the edges, but I've used it so many times. It's the wetness of the Sharpie makes it ragged around the edges. But I mostly use black. Occasionally, I will get another color, even red or like a light color like lavender. Sometimes you can see those colors on black, and you can't see the black on black. So I do have Sharpies in many different colors, but I use these Sharpies regularly, every day. Then we have these duckbill curved scissors. I hate these. To me, they're just not an accurate cut. You may love these. This may be your favorite tool in your sewing room. I do not like these. These actually I bought a used PE 770 from somebody, and they gave me everything. They gave me all their stabilizers, their thread, their everything, and this was in there. But I don't like them. I mean, they'll do in a pinch if I can't locate my other ones real quick, but I do not like these duckbill scissors. I've cut too deep before on these, and these are supposed to be to prevent that, but I have messed up appliques with these. I'm not a fan of these scissors, and these scissors are pretty expensive. I think these scissors are anywhere between $25 and like $35, depending on where you get them, and I'm not a fan. For cutting appliques, this is my preferred scissor. Number one, if you've got fat, old, arthritic fingers, it's hard to put your fingers in these holes, and it's not comfortable, and it just, sometimes I feel like it just kind of gets stuck on my fingers. These are perfect. You just squeeze them like tweezers, and they're very precise. Very small blade, as you can see, very, very small. It does have a curve on the end of the blade, slightly curves up. Perfect. These scissors are anywhere between $12 and about $14. They come in iridescent, silver, several different colors, and I love these scissors. These scissors are used, that you cannot sharpen these scissors, but these scissors are used until they get dull, and then I still have a hard time throwing them away, but I don't think I've ever thrown any away. They've probably gotten put back somewhere, but I always keep one pair out, and that's the sharpest ones that I have at the time, and I love these scissors. You do not have to try to get your fingers in the holes, and they go around, they accurately cut around an applique in the smallest of places. I love these scissors. Perfect applique cutting scissors. And if you've seen my how to do the perfect applique video, you'll recognize this. This is a glue stick like kids use in school to do their projects. I get mine at the Dollar Tree. They come 8 to a package, and they are perfect for and they will not gum up your needle, will not hurt your machine in any way. You don't have to use much, just enough to hold your fabric in place while it's being tacked down. And I use these. I buy them usually 3 packs at a time. They don't last a long time. If you're appliquing all day, you may go through 3 sticks of these, 3 or 4 sticks. But I keep these in the shop all the time. If I get down to 8 sticks, it's time to go buy 3 more packs. Because I use these all the time. Can't say enough good things about having a glue stick for making the perfect applique. And the snippers. These are perfect for keeping at your sewing machine, where that you need to clip threads. If you chain stitch, these are perfect for cutting apart chain stitching. And these are just a nice, and these also, no finger holes. They're the pinchers, the tweezer type scissors. Love these scissors. They're very comfortable. They're, meaty enough that you know you've got them in your hand. I love these. Love these scissors. Love the snips. And the rotary cutter. Can't make a quilt without a rotary cutter. Well, that's not true. My grandmother never had a rotary cutter in her life, and she made many quilts. And she used a large, humongous pair of scissors, and she had a board that she laid across her lap, and that's where I've still got the board in my house. And she laid it, I remember seeing her laying that across her lap, and she would draw out her quilt squares, and she would cut them out, and they'd be precise. I don't know how she did it, because I've tried to do it myself, and I can't do it. I can't cut a perfect square with a pair of scissors. These make short work of cutting strips and squares and rectangles, and I just, these are like my third hand. These are Sewology brand, which is Hobby Lobby brand. It uses the 60 millimeter blade. You can get these in smaller sizes. I love these, and also the added bonus is that when Sewology goes 50% off, I can replace my blade for $3.50 versus the regular price is $7. And I usually will buy 3 or 4 blades at one time when they're on sale. Also, I use the Sewology cones of thread, and they're like buy one get one free when it's 50% off. So instead of it being like $2.49 for a cone. It's like $1.25 a cone. And unfortunately for everybody else, if they've got 8 cones, I buy 8 cones, especially if it's white and off-white. I buy them out on those colors. All right. Now, this is the Faultless little bitty tiny tube hot iron cleaner. Some of you know that my husband bought me a beautiful new iron for Christmas. It's a gift that will give to me every day, and that's the kind of gifts that I like. And I accidentally touched it to the wrong side of fusible interfacing the other day, and oh, what a mess I made. And it just, stuff like that, that's when your iron will scorch, is touching it to stuff like that. So I had this, I've had it for a while, but this was a new tube. I already taken the non-reusable lid off of it, and it's just a small amount in here, but it takes about half of a tube. Get your iron as hot as it'll go, and you put it on. I just kind of do a zigzag of this on some fabric that's no good and that I'm not going to use, scraps, and I'll run my iron back and forth over it 3 or 4 times. Now, this part is a disclaimer. I do not recommend anybody do this. So if you burn yourself, don't blame me. But when I think it's gotten off all it can get off, it's not completely clean. So I take my scrap piece of fabric and I squeeze a little bit more of this on there, and I actually rub the scrap piece of fabric with this cleaner on there, and I give it a good scrub until every speck of anything is off of my iron. Be careful, do not hit the steam button like I did yesterday. I was quick on the draw and pull back fast enough, but it will burn you. But it will completely clean the gunk off your iron. I love this. I need to get, I think it comes in a 2-pack. I actually got this at the grocery store in the laundry section, and you can get this on Amazon. I've never ordered this from Amazon, but I really, 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 really like the Faultless Hot Iron Cleaner. And the heat bond. This was a 35-yard bolt. I always take it off the bolt as soon as I get it and roll it. I make 2 rolls of it. This is about half of a bolt. This is a large, thick roll. And this is what I use, as I've shown in videos before, to add small pieces to my memory quilts. Like if somebody's got a shirt that has nothing on it but a little tiny design, and they want that included in their memory quilt. And most of the time people send way too many shirts, and you didn't need that shirt anyway to make your quilt. And I will just put heat bond behind the design, cut it out, apply it to my quilt, and then I'll just go around and applique around it. I use an awful lot of this. And one thing about cleaning up your sewing room, it's always exciting, because you find stuff that you forgot that you had, or you find stuff that you did that you thought you were out of. And I was going through a tub of odds and ends and found this, and I was fixing to reorder, but I've got enough to get me through at least 3 months on this big roll. So heat bond is very necessary for what I do. And I think this is next to the last, binder clips. We use these on the easy frames. I could not afford the fast frames for my machine. They are about $1,200 to get the chassis. Well, actually, my machine came with the chassis, and the chassis is the part that the frame's hooked to, and I've never had that on my machine. But I bought the, went to an embroidery show, and it's where you see all the newest, latest gadgets and fabrics and designs, and it's just it's like a market for people that do embroidery. And I came across Sonyasmemoryquilts.com. Sonyasmemoryquilts.com is based in Atlanta, Georgia, and they, in conjunction with Durkee Frames, they were set up together at this show, and they were offering these frames called Easy Frames. And I had been using, I needed something to embroidery on onesies, and things that are difficult to hoop up, or some things are just impossible to hoop up. And even with a large embroidery machine, with just your frames that comes with it, it's still just almost impossible to embroider on a onesie. So I got the easy frames. Let me show you what I'm talking about. This is the easy frame, and with these Durkee's easy frames, you can always you can buy whatever size frame you want. I've got this 5x7, and then I have a larger, I think it's an 8x8. It's wider. It's the same length as this, I think, but it's wider. And this is perfect for doing onesies. And once you put your stabilizer on here, there's nothing to hoop up. This is all the frame. This titanium frame is all there is to it. So in order to hold your item the way you want to, we clip on the binder clips. And I've got more of these. I just brought 3 over to show you. And just clamp your garment on to keep it in place while you embroidering. Very, very important, because the sewing machine does not recognize these frames. It's very important that you trace your design before you turn your machine to start embroidering or appliquing, because this is going to read this as the biggest frame you have, which is like an 8x12 for my machine. So if you'll hit that trace button on your embroidery machine, it will let you know if it's going to stay within these area. You actually don't want it even to go close to this. So, you know, at least a 1/2 inch away from the edge of this. So if you'll trace your design, you'll know exactly the area that's going to be embroidered in. And you must do that on these frames, because it's a horrible sound to hear your machine hit this metal. And you're going to break a needle, and you're going to cry, and it just sounds terrible. It sounds like a broken bone, a bone being broken. But these are great for stabilizing a garment, a little onesie, or the little gowns or whatever, and without hurting them. Sometimes pins and little knit items will put a hole in them, but the binder clips will not. So we use a lot of this. We really like this size right here, but these smaller, these will work too. And the very last tool that I use, not the very last, but one of the most something that's unconventional. And chalk has been in a sewing room for many years, but not for what I use them for. I don't know why they used to use them, unless it was to mark darts, and it didn't look like this. It was flat. This is just regular chalkboard. I did buy an off-brand of chalk, like Rose Art or something like that. It's not as good. This is the Crayola brand chalk, and buy a box of it and just take out a piece at a time. This was one piece, but it broke, and that's fine if it breaks. But I use this to mark on my dark colored t-shirts when I'm going to cut those out. These are excellent for marking your spot. Like if you're going to embroidery just a chest design on the left side of the chest, a small design, and you can use this chalk and your ruler to mark a straight line, so that when you put it on your machine, you'll know, you can eyeball that it's straight if you've got a straight chalk line showing you about where you want your design to be. And I keep these here for embroidery, keep them nice and convenient. The last thing is I'd like to thank everyone who sent me something for the holidays. I had Christmas cards sent. A local lady came by for me to monogram a sweatshirt, and she brought me a little cake, and it was delicious. I ate half of it one day and half of it the next day. It was about not that big, wasn't a very big loaf. It was excellent. And I had a friend, one of my friends from Facebook, on my Sonya's Quilts and Embroidery page. She's always offering words of encouragement if I'm having a bad time, and sometimes I do. She sent me a shirt, and it was a very, very festive. It said Happy New Year from Evergreen, Alabama. I'd like to thank Miss Debbie for that shirt. She had heard my story about my grandmother sending us shoebox care packages when we lived away, and that touched her heart, so she sent me that shirt. It was very sweet. And let's see, Sterling Styles, Pam and her family from Sterling Styles sent me a Christmas card, and I did not send out a single Christmas card. And if you look on my Facebook page, you'll see that I didn't even put a tree up. Well, technically I did. It was still in the box it came in, and I stood it up on its end, and I put a snowman hat on top. And the only child we have left at home is a 21-year-old. She kind of annoyed me about it and wouldn't help me put it up, so I just stood it up on its end, put a snowman hat on top, and put my presents around it. And we had our Christmas on Saturday after Christmas. I am the wife of a paramedic, and the divorce rate for emergency workers and police officers and firefighters is very high because, most of the time the spouse, I'm not going to say the woman, I'm not going to say the wife, but the spouse will whine about them having to work and having to work over and having to go in because somebody got sick, and because their schedule, they have to work on Christmas, so they have to work on the 4th of July. And I knew what he was when I married him. And so I have spent many, many, many Christmases in the last 23 years alone. And it doesn't bother me. I'm not going to have my Christmas without him. And so my family, my children have always known that we will have it when he comes home. He's gone from Tuesday morning very early till Friday about lunchtime. And so we have Thanksgiving on Saturday, we have Christmas on Saturday, and if he's working 4th of July and I get invited to somebody's house to watch 4th of July fireworks, then I will go, or but I've always and I've never begrudged him for his work schedule. I just never have. And I've always prided myself in being a good paramedic wife. And I encourage anyone whose husband or wife is in that line of work to be understanding that, and it doesn't matter what falls on Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday, my husband is at work. And so I'm not going to cook a big Thanksgiving meal and him at work. I'm just not going to do it. He is my biggest fan when it comes to my cooking, and I'm just not going to cook a big Thanksgiving meal and then him come home the next day and eat leftovers. So we have it on Saturday. But I hope everybody got some good information in this video about the tools that I use and the ones that I don't like and how I use them. There's many ways you can use different tools to accommodate yourself in different, what they were not intended for. So, thank you all so much for the gifts that you sent. I wish I had done them, it was one gift, a cake and some cards, and I should have opened them in a video, but, I was frankly, when I got through with my Christmas orders, physically, emotionally, mentally exhausted. So on Christmas Day, I lay on the couch and I napped. I'd wake up. I watched Hoarders Buried Alive all day. That show makes me feel really good about myself, which my house is not. I'm not a hoarder. I have lots of fabric, but if somebody says I would like to have a sunflower quilt, if I've got sunflower fabric, I don't mind a bit cutting it up and making them a quilt. I don't want to keep it for myself. I like my fabrics. I like my pretty fabrics. I have a huge selection of fabrics, but I like to make it up and see it in a mailer and it going out the door too. But my house, the only thing on the floor in my house is the furniture. So I'm not a hoarder, but I don't know. My husband says, I don't understand why you like to watch that. Why do you watch that show? I've actually been in houses like that. I said, well, it makes me feel really good about myself to watch this show. And he said, well, you gag the whole time you're watching it. I said, well, I can't explain it. I just like to watch it. But anyway, hope everybody has a great new year. And, and I'm going to be doing a lot of classes. We'll probably start a class tomorrow, show you how to do something tomorrow. But I just wanted to give you a rundown on the tools for today. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye-bye.